It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Oregon women's basketball head coach, Kelly Graves. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing well, Brandon. Good to be with you, bud.
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started coaching?
Well, I was a lifelong player. It was my favorite sport. Played in college. Actually thought I was going to be an attorney. Took the LSAT and didn't do so well. So, in the meantime, my coach at the University of New Mexico, Gary Colson, had offered me a graduate assistant spot on his staff while I finished up my degree and started my master's degree. So I did it. I loved it, and just kind of moved on from there. But it was not something that I'd thought about doing from the time I was young, for sure.
Can you talk about where you've coached moving on to getting to Oregon?
Well, I got my start, like I said, at the University of New Mexico as graduate assistant. Then I moved on to Big Bend Community College up in Moses Lake, Washington. My old former high school coach was the men's coach there. He got me a teaching job, and I helped him coach. And then that next year, right before school started, the women's coach had quit, and so they, didn't really have time to open it up. They just asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said yeah. So that's kind of where I got into women's basketball. I really hadn't thought about coaching women, but it just kind of fell into my lap, and thank God it did, because I loved that first year. I loved working with that team, and I stayed there another 3 years total. Moved on to an assistant position at the University of Portland. Was there 5 years, and that's when I got my first Division I head coaching job at St. Mary's College. And I was at St. Mary's 3 years before I made the move to Gonzaga, and then Gonzaga 14 years head coach before I moved on to the University of Oregon. So, a non-traditional, I guess, route to get where I'm at. I started at a community college in the middle of kind of nowhere. I loved Moses Lake, but it's in the middle of nowhere, and there wasn't much of a program at the time. So it's been a fun journey.
Can you talk about what you accomplished at Gonzaga?
Well, I think in our time there, we built perhaps the best mid-major in the country, in the history of mid-majors. If you don't include UConn, because I don't know what conferences they've been in. They haven't been in the Power Fives, but my last 10 years there. Again, we started really from scratch. My first year, I think people kind of forget. My first year at Gonzaga, we went 0-14 in league. We just weren't very good. And but we recruited well and slowly made our climb. In our fifth year there, we went undefeated in league. So from 0-14 to 14-0, and then that was the first of our 10 straight championships. And during that time, we went to one Elite Eight, we went to 3 Sweet 16s, and like I said, built did something that very few so-called mid-majors have ever done. And one of our keys there is we never viewed ourselves as a mid-major. We felt we belonged to playing with anybody in the country.
That's amazing. What have you accomplished so far at Oregon as the head women's coach?
Well, again, I think we started from near the bottom, and this is our 7th year. So in 6 short years, we've actually been able to build Oregon into one of the premier programs in the country. I mean, we're getting the elite players. We're beating some of the elite programs. We've become part of that discussion as best in the country. So it's not easy. I have a phenomenal staff, and always have, and I think that's critical for any young coach. Make sure you hire well, get people that complement you and have the different strengths than you have, because you want a well-rounded staff. So it's been a fun journey, and we hope to keep it going.
Can you talk about the winning culture that you've had at Oregon over the years?
I mean, it's the same kind of blueprint we've used at every stop. We recruit good kids who buy into the team aspect. My first year at Oregon, we had to let 3 or 4 players go. They weren't willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team and either play with discipline or do the things that we were asking them to do, and we had to part ways. And we have a certain way of doing things. I think we do it the right way. We get good kids who work hard, and they're good students, they're good citizens, and and it's just worked for us. I don't think you can compromise on that. I just think that's critical. If you want to be among the best, then you've got to recruit those players that are willing to give of themselves for something bigger.
Can you talk about coaching for USA basketball?
Well, it was an honor to be asked by USA Basketball, Carol Callan, to help coach with an amazing staff. Kate Meyer was the head coach for those 2 years for the U18s and U19s. I also got to work then 2 years also with Nikki Caldwell, I guess, who's down at LSU, but I guess Nikki Vargas now. But they were great. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and we were fortunate enough to actually coach some of the greatest players in the world. I mean, my goodness, we had Breanna Stewart for 2 seasons as a junior, among the world's, well, she was absolutely the best in the world, but you're talking about, Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson and just on and on. It was an incredible group.
Can you talk about the Duck Dynasty that you've helped build over the years?
I've had good players. I mean, we recruited well, and we recruited hard, and we got them to play together. But there's no secret to it, no secret sauce. Sabrina Ionescu is a heck of a player. Satu Sabali, hell of a talent. Ruthie Hebert, just goes on and on and on. And that group I owe a lot to, because they're the ones that really kind of put us on the map, and they took a chance on us when we were just starting a program. So listen, coaches, they could be the best coaches in the world, but if I got better players, then more than likely I'm going to beat you. So that's the key.
How was it knowing that Sabrina just went into the NBA, women's NBA drafted this year?
Well, it was a dream come true. It was, neat. It was very moving to see her dreams realized. I mean, that's something that she has wanted to do her entire life, worked really hard for it, was singularly focused. And I'm really happy for her. She's going to be a great pro, and I think one of the faces of the WNBA for many years to come.
What are some more of your accomplishments at Oregon over the years?
Well, I really haven't accomplished anything, to be honest with you. I've never scored a point. I've never gotten a rebound. I've never had an assist. I just, I allow our players to succeed within my system, our team concept. But, the credit belongs to them. I'm just a conduit, so to speak, for them to, realize their dreams and to play their game. I think we have a great system. It allows our players a lot of freedom. I think we really focus on fundamentals. And like I said, I think we do it the right way. But hey, listen, I'm not, I don't have an ego big enough to think that it's me. So I'm glad they get the credit. They deserve the credit.
Can you talk about the 2018 and 2020 season winning the Pac-12 tournament?
Well, 2018 was the year Sabrina and Ruthie and all those kids were sophomores. We were really just kind of jumping onto the scene. We'd won the regular season championship, and then for the first time in school history, we won the tournament championship. And so, we kind of, I guess, validated our regular season championship again by beating Stanford quite handily in the final. And then, of course, we won the regular season in 19 as well. But then Stanford got us back in the final. So it was really kind of rewarding in 2020 to not only have a phenomenal regular season and win our 3rd straight Pac-12 championship, regular season championship, which doesn't happen a lot in the Power 5 conferences to have that kind of a dynasty. You're looking at some of the best teams all time that are able to do that. And then we validated it again with just a phenomenal tournament, which included a 30 point plus win in the championship against Stanford. And, unfortunately, that was our last game of the year. But what a way to go out. And I think we just that's why I think just the way we were playing at the end of the season, I just didn't feel like there was anybody that was going to beat us in that NCAA tournament, with all due respect to all the other competitors in it.
That's amazing. Can you talk about the recruitment process and what you look for in players in high school?
Well, I think what I look for, number one, is athletic ability. I just it's an athletic game. And, it's difficult to do the things that you want to do if you don't have athletic ability. Number two, I look for skill set, which is, hey, listen, it's a skilled game. I coach a skilled game. That's why we're so efficient offensively. We're not just running around and making plays. I think third is basketball IQ. I think it's really important to understand how to play, that they understand the why and the how. I think fourth is upside and potential. In all my years at Gonzaga, we weren't getting the elite, the top 25 recruits. So we had to get those that maybe kind of flew under the radar, and we had to develop them or help them develop themselves. And so, I've always kind of had an eye towards, those players that are going to be better in a couple of years than they are now. And then fifth and most important is, championship character. I list it fifth, but I think it's the most important because you just don't. That's the last thing that you learn about a player. What makes them tick, what makes them go, what makes Sabrina special, and it's that character and the drive to be the best and the competitive spirit that they have. So those are the five things that we look for.
That's amazing. What is the recruitment process like on the official visit?
It's just a time to get to know them. They get to know us. We're all putting our best foot forward. I think the key to us is we're just ourselves. We don't really put on a big show. We let them hang out with the team, and we just show them what a great place that we have.
What advice would you have upcoming high school women's basketball players looking to make it into college?
Well, I think first of all, you better love what you do, because when you get to college, it's different. I mean, it's a job, in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously there's great camaraderie and a lot of benefits to it, but this isn't a high school. You're playing with kids that are serious about it, and you're not just kids that are doing it for the social aspect. They're doing it because they want to have fun. We have fun, but we have players that want to be pros. So, but just love it, and you're gonna have to work hard at it and bring it every day.
That's wonderful. What advice would you have upcoming college coaches looking to get into the industry?
Again, love your teammates or love your team. Work hard, be yourself. All the same kind of advice that you're going to get in probably any profession. I think the most successful coaches are the ones that are willing to forego their egos and just forge great relationships with their players and their staffs, and that's what it really comes down to. I think great coaching comes from great relationship building. So, and great relationships come from truly loving your team.
That's wonderful. Where can my listeners find Oregon Ducks women's basketball program at on social media, along with you on social media?
Well, you can follow me at GoDucksKG. Oregon women's basketball. Yeah, I don't know the way to do it, but yeah, just you look us up, you'll find us.
Thank you again, Coach Kelly, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming year.
You got it, Brandon. Thanks, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk, and find me on all of my social media platforms.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.